Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump's going to win this election. He's going to win this election. It's my belief that Hillary Clinton is going to replace Biden because they can't possibly be going with a man who has literally helped create the systemic injustices that people have protested the past 6 months, 5-6 months. So you can't possibly be saying that the same person who created the systemic injustices should be president as a Democrat or a Democratic president. In addition to the fact that he destroyed Libya with a failed NATO intervention. President Obama did, I should say, along with the help of Clinton and Biden. Okay. So President Trump never said both sides. He never praised he never praised racists. Within that actual quote, he said, and I'm not talking about the racists. Go look at the C-SPAN quote. It's literally in the quote. You can see, and he says, those people should be condemned categorically. The notion that he would be referring to racist or bigots because there's this law, this majority of really horrible people in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and that's how they lost the election, in addition to Facebook ads. Only a fool would believe that. But you have Biden, who presided over a NATO intervention that destroyed a country. Okay, there are now human beings being bought and sold now in Libya. You have, I call him Botox B, the exhumed body, because he looks and acts like Tales from the Crypt. You have a man who presided over the 100-to-1 sentencing disparities. 100-to-1. So 100 people of color to one person that looks like his son. Then this is a C-SPAN clip. Biden drafted cocaine disparity. Biden acknowledges that he drafted the legislation that created the 100-to-1 sentencing disparity between crack and powder cocaine. Okay. This is the systemic injustices within the crime bill that Madam Secretary pushed along with Bubba Bill when she said that super predators should be brought to heel and lack empathy. She was referring to young people of color. These are the Democrats who preside over the systemic injustices and systemic economic injustices and poverty in areas of the country forever that President Trump has now tried to introduce in certain areas economic opportunity zones. If you say, well, so what? It's not helping people. The economic opportunity zones, Rome wasn't built in a day. You've had Democrats who presided for decades over despair and economic strife. But President Trump has allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever, and made that funding permanent, $250 to $255 million per year permanent. Democrats didn't do that. Democrats didn't sign. President Obama did not sign a First Step Act. President Trump did sign a First Step Act. And President Trump worked with Van Jones, and he worked with the legendary Jim Brown, and he worked with Kanye West. And now you have, and he's working now with Ice Cube. And now you have 50 Cent, which is the preface before I get to the 50 Cent is that President Trump is doing things. Democrats are saying things. President Trump has proven that he can get record low unemployment nationally, record low unemployment for Latino and Hispanic and Black and African American citizens. President Trump has signed the First Step Act, prison reform legislation. President Trump has allocated more funding and made it permanent every single year so HBCUs don't have to go to Congress and make sure that they get their funding renewed. So there was always a difference between how Harvard and Yale and other institutions got funding. Now HBCUs can get permanent $255 million, I believe, every single year. Should be more. but he's the only president who made it permanent funding and absolved $300 million in Katrina loans, which also is good. President Trump, record low unemployment, more money allocated historically black than ever before to historically black colleges and universities, signed the First Step Act. You have economic opportunity zones in places that Democrats have presided over. And now you have well-known, world-renowned, either celebrities or, world-renowned individuals, whether it's Herschel Walker or whether it's the great Jim Brown, whether it's Kanye West. Democrats love when Katy Perry, endorses Clinton, or when a Hollywood celebrity endorses Biden or Clinton. The rebuttal is, well, so what? So what if Kanye West likes Trump? And now people are probably going to say, so what if 50 Cent likes Trump? Yeah, but you have to understand something. 14% of black men voted for President Trump, according to Pew Research. 14% of black men in 2016. That number is going to go up. The number of Hispanic and Latino voters. Hispanic and Latino voters are going to, I think, catapult President Trump to 8 years. Trump's going to defeat. If they're so inept they go with Biden, because I'm thinking, my prediction has been that Clinton is going to replace Biden. That's the only chance they have, because she does better among black and Latino voters than Biden, who's doing worse than Clinton. And Clinton did worse than President Obama. You cannot win without black and Latino voters. And it's not that suddenly people are going to listen to 50 Cent, or suddenly people are going to listen to Kanye West, or suddenly people are going to listen to Ice Cube in terms of politics. And he hasn't even endorsed President Trump. He's just working with President Trump's administration. Why? Because the Biden campaign said, we'll talk to you after the election. The Biden campaign told Ice Cube, we will talk to you after the election. President Trump's administration said, we'll talk to you now. Biden's campaign said, we'll talk to Ice Cube after the election. President Trump's administration said, we'll talk to you now. The true racists, the true bigots, the people who want to utilize and use people because of who they are or their skin color are Democrats. Democrats cannot exist without black and Latino voters. You are going to have a higher percentage of black and Latino voters vote for President Trump than even in 2016. Democrats, these are the last days, the last remnants of a very nefarious. You look at from the crime bill, and they say, well, Trump put out an ad regarding the Central Park Five. Who do you think put the Central Park Five in prison? Who do you think put Jamal Trulove in prison? Who do you think put innocent people in? Kamala Harris's prosecutors put an innocent black man in prison, incarcerated unjustly, and has fought the payments to people who have been unjustly incarcerated. They got money from the state government. It didn't want to pay these people. And we can go on forever with Kamala Harris and the prosecutorial record there. But it was Democrats. Democratic mayor, I believe it was Ed Koch. Democratic governor, I believe it was Mario Cuomo. There was one Republican, Democratic senator. All of New York City was run by Democrats at that time in the 80s. So it was Democrats that put the Central Park Five in prison. It wasn't Trump. Trump shouldn't have put the ad out. Fine. President Trump shouldn't have used the birther myth. But you want to know who started it? Madam Secretary. So, and this is a Guardian article. Most shameful, offensive fear-mongering of the election from either side. Clinton aides claim Obama photo wasn't intended as a smear. David Plouffe, who is now, of course, voting for Biden, which I think Clinton is going to replace by. That's my prediction. Obama's campaign manager David Plouffe described it as the most shameful, offensive fear-mongering we've seen from either party this election. Barack Obama's campaign team today accused Hillary Clinton's beleaguered staff of mounting a desperate dirty tricks operation by circling a picture of him in African dress, feeding into false claims on U.S. websites. Okay. This is a Guardian article. Clinton aides claim Obama photo wasn't intended as a smear. By Ewan McCaskill in Washington, Monday, February 25th, 2008. So, this is what Democrats started. They started the birther myth, or Madam Secretary did. It's in The Guardian. You want to know about structural injustice? There's a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity that Biden created. Okay. President Trump does not dislike any ethnicity, and the media has been apoplectic and completely disingenuous and dishonest. Look what they did to Ice Cube for even working with the Trump administration. The media is like an entity that is just out for itself, and they don't care about the truth. And when they say that Trump is a bigot and a supremacist, well, is a supremacist a person that destroys Libya and that presides over a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity for the same drug, and then who actually starts the birther myth? Or is a supremacist a person who, like President Trump, presides over record low black and Latino unemployment, more money funded to historically black colleges permanently than any other president ever, signs the First Step Act, begins economic opportunity zones, working on a platinum deal with Ice Cube. And Ice Cube was talking about a contract with Black America that he was talking about with the Trump administration. So, 50 Cent is 100% right. And I think he made a mention of something like, well, President Trump might not like, that's not true. But in terms of taxes, of course, 50 Cent's a millionaire, so he's going to do a lot better with President Trump. But everyone's taxes were lowered during the Trump's tax plan. The tax cuts, everyone's taxes. When they say it only helped rich people, well, the entire country had record low unemployment. We had a fantastic economy before states shut down all economic activity to save people. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. 50 Cent is voting for President Trump. This is pretty awesome. And it's awesome because it slowly chips away at the propaganda against President Trump by people who themselves are actual racists and bigots. The Democratic Party. Give me your thoughts below. Be on my channel every day at 1 p.m. Pacific for the live stream, at 9 p.m. Pacific as well. And also be on H.A. Goodman's other channel as well. If you want to be part of a newsletter, my website's coming out. My revamped website's coming out this week. Contact me at contactgoodman78@gmail.com. Thank you.